Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Newspaper Review segment right here on TVC Breakfast. My name is Nelson Etta. What a way to begin a new week. And the Nation newspaper will be leading the discourse this morning, as I will be doing this with my duo gentlemen, Etoma and Ibrahim. Good to have you all join me.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Thank you very much. A very bold one here on the Nation newspaper. We see Lamido, El-Rufai driven by emotion, and Akpabio's cooperation and collaboration practices embody our democracy. You know, when I saw this morning, I just laughed. You know, politics is so beautiful sometimes.
It could be so annoying sometimes too.
You know, looking at this, Senator Jimo Ibrahim is writing, might I phrase this, a letter of vote of confidence on the Senate President. You know, I'm wondering why he had to, should I use the word, come, you know, public on a national newspaper to, you know, publish this?
Oh, well, Akpabio in the recent past has not been having a lot of good press because of the Natasha issue. You know, and when
which will take a lot this morning, though.
Yes, and when some very heavy names, men with timber and caliber, as my friend would say, and bulldozer, when men like that come out and say, look, I trust this guy, it brings back some integrity that the Senate needs.
Well, and we're seeing this El-Rufai matter now. I mean, I wanted to say the young man.
Yeah, he's a young man. He's in his 60s, but he's still a young man.
Yeah,
if you ask him, he said, I'm still young at heart.
Right. He is defected. I mean, let him be. Why do we still have this, you know, dragons happening around his defection? What's going on here?
Yeah, so I think since El-Rufai has defected to the SDP, there have been so much reactions to his defection, especially with his criticism of the incumbent party, APC, saying that President Tinubu has not met his own expectations. But the reaction coming from Lamido is, listen, if Nigerians would reject the incumbent party and the incumbent president, it should not be on your own terms. It should not be because you personally are hurt, but it should be based on the fact that you are looking at what is best for Nigeria. So it should not be selfish interest. So what you're doing, what we've been seeing so far is driven by your own emotions, is driven by your own selfish your own selfish interest. So let it be for Nigerian general, let it be Nigerian-centric rather than El-Rufai-centric.
But Etoma, quickly before we let go of this, isn't politics sometimes a selfish journey?
Politics everywhere in the world is selfish.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it is put together for the people. But how do the people fare? Look at what's happening in River State and so on.
Yeah.
You know, so at the end of the day, it's the Nigerian brand of politics is about personal interest.
So we have to then understand when to divide interest from the general, you know, public.
Yes,
the personal interest from, you know, the benefit of the general public is what I mean.
Yeah, it's driven by interest, but at the end of the day, you need to ensure that you align your interest with the overall good of the populace. Do you understand? It should not just be me, myself, and I, or me, myself, and my family, and alone. So it should always be what is good for you and what is good for the overall generality of the people.
Of course, that's what democracy is defined as. For the people, by the people. That's what we laid off for the Nation newspaper. So we quickly make our way to the Blueprint newspaper this morning. And I see at the very top of it right there, future now brighter under Tinubu with reduction in fuel, food prices. This is according to Yakasai. That would still be an argument by some persons, but that's what he's saying. 1.7 billion liabilities by 45 oil coys. Reps recover 28.7 billion naira from Chorus Energy and Seplat. I'm wondering, Etoma and Ibrahim, how that about 45 oil companies would be owing the FA account, you know, to that amount of money. Aren't they making money every other day? Why do they have to be owing?
So it's a good recovery that the reps has made
exactly
as a House of Assembly, because if you're talking about $1.7 billion liabilities by these 45 oil companies, so just making it from I think about 2 of them or 4 of them, and that amounts to how much? $28.7 billion. So it's still short for a very much larger amount of money that we're looking for to raking it from them. So what we need to do something very, very seriously about plugging the leakages and ensuring transparency and accountability in our revenue base, in our revenue generation. We will not have some of these countries, some of these companies coming into our country and stealing us blind and not doing what's supposed to be done, while you're making gains at our own expense. Indeed,
indeed. And Atoma, we see here how I got access to attend IPU meeting in New York. Natasha Akpo-Tudoagan is speaking here. You know, according to reports right there, she said she registered online. And by the way, she's attended this before. You know, she registered online. And so as a former attendee, it was, in quote, easy to have her coming again. But personally, I don't see how that should even be a wahala at all. I mean, you wanted to attend, you've attended.
To me, the Natasha story is slowly looking like entertainment. Because, yes, because in entertainment, all publicity is good publicity, good or bad, relevant or irrelevant. You know, I don't see why that particular story
should even...
Yes.
Right.
And no, you know, you can't represent the Nigerian Senate or, let's say, Nigerian institution without having approval or getting approval from the Nigerian state. You understand? So, but according to what she said, she's received, she's been on the mailing list because she was there last year, and then she had to spend, pay for her own air ticket and all of that to get there, you know, to make that.
So normally it would have been a funded trip.
Maybe, funded trip and approved
trip
by the Senate.
Exactly.
So you remember, the suspension includes not representing the Senate.
Exactly.
In her capacity as a senator.
Yeah.
So the way it is now, probably she has been derobed of being referred to as a Senate.
One of the conditions of her suspension is that she can't introduce herself as a senator anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, and attending a meeting representing the Nigerian Senate negates the rules of the suspension.
Yeah. Well, in fairness to her, I don't think she went to represent the Nigerian Senate. She just went to speak for herself. As a senator. Lay her complaint.
Senator Natasha Akpoti, that's the way she introduced herself, which the Senate frowns at. So we'll see. It's an investigation, so we'll see what they come up with it.
Don't allow emotion dictate your decisions, Lamido tells El-Rufai. Blast ex-governor, calls for opposition to join PDP. Go and take up teaching job, APC chieftains tell El-Rufai. It would be nice to see El-Rufai in the classroom, really, if that is the case. But again, politics is playing out here, gentlemen. Politics. Right. Troops arrest 2 notorious bandits, recover weapons in Plateau. That's a good one right there. Fubara crisis caused by bad advisors. The FCT minister is saying this. In Nigeria to capture 50% of $43 billion oil gas feeds in 2025. And the NOA is saying we have firm commitment to national unity and civic responsibility. This is in line with the celebration of Ramadan. But that's what we'll let it off for the blueprint as we quickly make our way to the News Direct newspaper this morning. And we'll see right here, Rivers Assembly accuses Fubara of sabotaging budget process, denies receiving governor's letter. Stop playing to the gallery. Demands immediate action on budget to prevent further economic damage. I'll come to you guys on this, but let's hold on. Nigeria's foreign direct remittances surged to $180 million. We have built over 4,000 affordable houses in Ogun State. This is quoting the governor, Dapo Abiodun, right there. And the conversation of the NDLEA we took a bit earlier, removing Tinubu should serve national interests, not personal vendettas. That's a pretty great one right there, gentlemen. NAFDAC seizes over 1 trillion naira worth of substandard banned drugs in Lagos and Abia. I think we should discuss a little bit on this one right here. NAFDAC is still pushing, under the leadership of Professor Adeyeye, still pushing, this effort. Kudos to NAFDAC again here, gentlemen. What do you all think?
Yes. A round of applause for them. I'm not asking you to do that right
now. Right.
Because she's doing a whole lot. She's doing a whole lot, a professor of repute and ensuring that NAFDAC, we get the quality drugs, to all Nigerians. Because if you go to some pharmacists, some pharmaceutical companies or shops, they sell what is known to be fake drugs. But now clamping down on substandard drugs, banning them, especially in Lagos and Abia, is also skyrocketing. Causing the prices of drugs to skyrocket. Because so I'm not wondering, what is the relationship?
Well,
How do you connect them? We are trying to stop bad drugs. At the same time, the good drugs are going up. So it's making market for those who are ensuring that people get killed, quote unquote. But this is a good way to something.
Toba, for want of time, I'd beg your apologies. Let's move quickly to this Nigeria newspaper. And the conversation on the recovery by the reps is also the headline right here and what the NDLE has done over the weekend. But let's see something here in Rivers State. Abalema Kalabari stands still as Ijo honor Wike. He has done a lot to empower Ijo's sons more than any other person in recent times. I always like the vocabulary chosen by politicians to say some things they want to say when they are liking you, and the same can change in a night.
But the question is, are they liking him, or they are just doing some political permutation and alignment?
Well,
Some high service.
Ijo in River State is a minority community, and Fubara is an Ijo man. Wike was instrumental to his emergence as governor. And my question is, why is the reception happening now where we are having all these issues? So you see, it's strategic. It's strategic.
Especially with the Supreme Court judgments going the way of the Wike camp. So everybody wants to align and realign. And, so many things are actually happening.
But I see the fingers of 2027, crawling up on the table here.
It has always been ahead of 2027.
That's the major reason all these things are happening.
Indeed. And a very sad one right here. Over 1,300 persons die from diphtheria. NCDC named Kano, Bauchi, Yobe, Katsina as high burden states. Well, this is a sad one right here, but I hope the government have their hands on this matter so that this can be stopped as early as possible. But that's what we'll let it off for this Nigeria as we make our way quickly to the Abuja Enquirer newspaper this Monday morning. Confusion as VIO returns to Abuja roads. This is one set of humans I don't want to see on the road. But Etoma, let me ask you this. Why is it problematic somewhat that, when they are on the road, they sort of like cause wahala instead of good?
Yes, because mostly they don't listen. Most of our law enforcement agents, not the agencies, well, I can push the blame to the agencies themselves. They are confrontational, They stop you and they start treating you as if you're guilty already, And I have encountered them in Abuja once. It wasn't a good experience.
Right.
So when I saw that, I just started laughing. I said, oh boy, some people are having it hot in Abuja.
Especially as there is a subsisting order asking them not to, operate on the roads in the FCT. Now having them back is just like contravening the subsisting order, which banned them from, just the FCT, not across the nation. So now having them back is now.
Well, the citizens have raised an alarm over this. Let's wait to see what the government will do. But that's what we're waiting for, the Abuja Enquirer, as we make our way quickly to the Punch newspaper. How subsidy removal tension worsen Niger's fuel scarcity. Fuel marketers decry closure of stations at border towns. Citizens demand one more Nigerian goods. All right? Ashake ready to buy me house, says father, baby mama, legs. Maybe finally, the cry of the father is paying off right here. But governors lobby Tinubu to block LG direct payment. Oh my, let's not get into this because I have a whole lot on this matter. Why would that even be the case? And then we're seeing that a lot of the LGs have not done what they're supposed to do, to present their accounts for, auditing so that they can receive the money.
I do not support the governors lobbying the president.
Obviously, because the autonomy has been given to the LGs.
So we've been clamoring for true federalism, autonomy of the local governments in Nigeria. So why should governors who are emperors of their own state looking to still receiving this money and sharing paltry sum to them, for the betterment of the people? No, not to the what's it called? Ensuring that people are not getting dividends of good governance. So there's nothing. I believe that the president
Oh, no,
support something like that.
you know,
It won't.
Indeed. But that's it. Let's quickly make our way to the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. We see here again the conversation of El-Rufai's defection. But something right here at the top of it, federal government must stop listening or threatening Nigerians for criticizing government. This is coming from Amnesty International as ex-SGF, ex-minister among promoters of coalition to challenge APC. I think I know who that is referring to. Gunmen abduct businessman, wife, daughter in Ondo, demand 20 million naira ransom. No, no, no.
It is unfortunate, but we keep hearing stories like this. Kidnappings here, kidnappings there. And in some places, I hear somebody was kidnapped for 30,000 naira.
Oh, wow.
So it has gotten that bad. You know, and I just hope we can put our acts together and nip this thing in the bud.
Finally, we make our way to our last newspaper this morning, which would be the Sporting Life. And I'll try not to put you on the spot on this.
Don't put me on the spot.
Battle against Rwanda and Zimbabwe. Eagles Kigali camp bubbles. Osime Ekong, Arokodare to lead early arrivals as Moses Simon too. Great, you know, his injury has been worked upon and he's going to be there. That's a lovely one right there. And we see full house expected in Eagles camp today. So it looks like the Nigerian Eagles are going to give a strong showing in this competition. And so we wish them well and that they come back with the green card.
If it has to do with Eagles, I can.
But I think that's all we laid off for our newspaper review segment this morning. Gentlemen, I have to thank you again for doing this with me.
All right,
man.
Thank you very much.